Alright, so this is one I actually forgot to mention in my planned videos to do in the March channel update. I actually included it in the description, but I somehow forgot to mention it in the video, even though this is one of the ones that I really wanted to do. So this is Hades. Hades is the latest game from Supergiant, which has been doing very, very well with critics and very, very well with the award shows, though admittedly with gaming award shows you can't really trust them. But nonetheless, is a phenomenal fucking game. And even though it's getting all this high praise, I remember there was Alana Pierce, I think, tweeted a month or two ago about Ghost of Tsushima saying, oh, you know, Ghost of Tsushima sold gangbusters and won tons of awards and good reviews, but it still feels kind of underrated, honestly. And Hades kind of fits in that space as well. But it's one of those cases where everybody can feel a little jealous of Call of Duty, I guess. So I've done quite a lot of runs with Hades already myself. I don't think I've come anywhere near completing the game, but I've had 2 successful escape attempts. But I'm going to go ahead and start a new save slot, because I don't want to spoil anything for people who are new to this game, because, as with so many of the videos on my channel, I just want to shill like an asshole. So we're going to start up an empty save slot. And we are going to do just a single run with Hades, just to show the game off real quick.
Few tales are told of Hades, whose very name inspires fear and penitence, reminding us of the inevitable fate which we all share. I, however, mean to tell you such a tale. Listen carefully.
With the exception of 1 or 2 characters, this game's got fantastic voice acting, so it's a joy to listen to.
Goodbye, Father.
So, you are Zagreus, the son of Hades, trying to escape Hades' realm, starting at the bottom in Tartarus, and going up from there. And it's a roguelike, and every run you start with a certain weapon. Now, at the start of the game, that is pretty well the only major mechanic you get. Now, Zagreus is kind of an edgelord, especially at the start of the game, but this being a roguelike, you go through various rooms, defeating various enemies, and picking up various items, which vary in use. And the game is going to always start off your first run, guaranteed, with a boon from Athena as a reward for completing this first room. Now, since I've already done 2 complete successful runs, and 22 failure runs, I've got enough experience with this game to not be completely lost, but I am not a pro at the game. I'm just kind of, I'd say I'm good, but not great. Which is where I'd put myself on a lot of video games, honestly. Sleep at the wheel there. Alright. This room's got a lot more enemies than I remember.
That's what you get.
One of the things you start to figure out early on with this game is that it's really good to mix dashing and attacks a lot.
There she is.
And there we go, the first God boon of the game. One of the most common rewards for the game to give you is a God boon, where you open up these little...
Here goes nothing. In the name of Hades, Olympus, I accept this message.
You get a little voiced dialogue box exchange between Zagreus and the god in question.
Hail, noble cousin. Now, let's get you from that miserable place. I'll see that all of us upon Olympus do our part, beginning here with me.
And all the gods have very unique designs and voices. And afterwards, they grant you one of 3 boons at your choice. Each god has like 20 or 30 different boons they pull from. And they give you this pool of 3 boons that you get to choose from. And here, it's our regular attack, our little sword swing, is stronger and can deflect enemy attacks. Our little magic cast, which right now is terrible, damages foes in a small area and deflects enemy attacks. Or we can dash, and while we're dashing, we're invincible and deflect enemy attacks. That one is the best one to get from Athena.
I know you can't hear me all the way where you are, goddess, but thank you.
That is really good, being able to just be completely invulnerable during a dash, and this, if I hit an enemy projectile with this, it reflects the projectile back to its sender. This is really strong in some fights. So, like a roguelike, we're just going to keep building up power over the course of the playthrough. But another thing that I'm not really getting to show off here, because I've not died yet, is that every time you die, you go back to a little kind of home location, which is the House of Hades, the literal House of Hades. And at the House of Hades, you can spend some supplies like chthonic keys, which I just picked up one, or darkness, and these give you permanent upgrades across all of your runs. So it kind of deals with that classic... The nice thing about roguelikes is that you can always start up a new game and there's always some new, fresh experience. The downside of roguelikes is that if you're not good at the game, it really feels like the game can be bullying you sometimes. Which is not necessarily the case, and people like difficult games for a reason. But there are some people that roguelikes don't necessarily appeal to because it starts to feel like you're not making any progress, or that you only make progress when you get really good rolls on your drops, on your god boons, and so on. Hades tries to solve that by having permanent boons, permanent buffs that you gain every time you complete a run, either by dying or actually succeeding. So we're going to proceed to the next room where the reward is going to be money. These rewards are always random, by the way. And not only in terms of it being, let's say, coin or a god boon, but also it can change, you know, which god it gives you a boon. Sometimes there will be 2 god boons in a room, but the god that you don't pick gets jealous. And I don't think we're going to see that on this run. As this game also has kind of a system where the more runs you do, the more possibilities are unlocked. And since this is the first run I am doing on this save file, there are a lot of possibilities the game is not going to do, because it's just trying to keep it easy on me, because it knows this is my first playthrough, this guy probably doesn't know what he's doing yet, let's not scare him with too many big possibilities, right? So hence why it's just giving me God Boon, Chthonic Key, money, Chthonic Key, all these are really basic rewards. Honestly, once you get past your first couple runs, I feel like the game is a lot stingier with Chthonic Keys. Which is fine, though, because this game, the developers think, this is one of those games where the developers thought of everything. It's one of those cases where the developers actually gave a shit during early access and used it as a way of getting very direct player input. So, pretty much every conceivable problem you could run into, there's going to be a solution to it. If you are finding that the game is not dropping you as many Chthonic Keys for you as you would like, there's a way to get more Chthonic Keys. And so on. And that's a whole nother feature that I'm not going to talk about because it arrives a little bit later into the game, and I don't want to spoil it. So, we're running into very basic enemy designs here, and I think the game, I think every run makes more different, unique enemy types appear. Because I could swear that, like, on your first, like, 5 or so runs, the overwhelming majority of the enemies that the game is going to throw at you are these ones that I've been running into. Okay, here's the first time where we get to choose between 2 different rooms. This one provides darkness. Darkness does not help me on my current run, but I can spend it after I die to gain permanent buffs on the rest of my runs. This is a Charon shop. Charon will let me spend all the money I have on my person, or well, just any amount of the money on my person. Though usually it's smarter to spend all the money you got for buffs on this run. Though sometimes he sells stuff like darkness, in which case, yeah, that's a buff for a later run. We're gonna go ahead and go to Charon's shop, because I don't have to fight anyone if I go to Charon's shop.
I think I hear the river.
And let's see, are we are not done with this run yet. Okay. So, oh, also the game has little bits where you can, like, examine a pillar.
The infernal wares of the Stygian boatman Charon lie sprawled about, available for sale to whomever would be willing to quench the boatman's great thirst for riches.
So you get to hear the narrator, I don't know, Homer or somebody, talk about pillars and shit. And you can also talk to Charon, and Charon's got his own dialogue trees. He's a very talkative person, you know.
Why, good to see you, Charon, mate. Just minding my own business, taking in the sights, and hey, what's that you got? Some sort of wares for sale? And I'll just have a look around.
Okay, here we go. So, you can see over each of the items what they cost. And for this particular arrangement, I should be able to get both the Athena boon here. Hang on. Oh no, I'm not going to be able to get, okay. So, I'm able to get the Athena boon here, but not the Centaur heart.
This was an opportunity.
So Athena will again get me one of her boons from her random pool. Alternatively, I could have gone with that beating Centaur heart there, which would have increased my overall health by 25. Usually a really good choice to make in the early game, but I didn't do the math right. I'm trying to commentate at the same time, and I've never been a master of math. Oh boy. Oh Jesus. Ah, boy. Ain't it wonderful how with these controllers, the ports just go out so fucking quick? Anyways, by the way, I do recommend playing with a controller. I haven't tried out the mouse and keyboard method of playstyle for this. Maybe it's good, but I can't see how it would be. Okay, when it deflects attacks, deals more damage. That sounds pretty good. Your special is stronger and can deflect. After you take damage, foes around you and briefly deflect. I'm gonna go with this one. But the beautiful thing about Hades is that every time you play through, you get to try out all new kinds of abilities. And it's a whole new world. 20 health. There's a very good chance I'll die before the next Charon shop, so I'll go ahead and take this. I find that with roguelikes, it's better to work on a philosophy of assuming you're not going to live to see the next room, so make yourself stronger sooner. Okay, there we go, and these guys, again, a unique enemy type with a unique attack pattern. These guys will just kind of mosey around and then charge forward. Like the skulls, but bigger and meaner. And slower. There we go. And here is a boon from Ares.
This one was bound to show up, I guess. In the name of Hades, Olympus, I accept this message.
You've got quite the fighting spirit in you there, I have to say. Most intriguing, and yet no surprise for someone born in hell itself. You come on out of there and tell me all about it. I'm a fellow student of death, you see.
So this game has got a lot of dialogue. I mean, a lot. You will keep... There are a lot of games where you exhaust the dialogue after 3 tries and you just kind of get used to hearing the same guy go, welcome to Corneria, welcome to Corneria, welcome to Corneria, and you're like, oh god, kill me. Not this game. I have got 24 runs in this game. I have not exhausted anyone's dialogue except Charon's, and Charon's dialogue exhausts near instantly because he's got nothing to say. So for Ares, what we got here, we got... Oh, damn it! Jesus Christ. Okay, Ares offers 3 different boons. He can turn our magic spell into a little spinning pool of swords. He can just make all of our stuff just flatly do more damage. 10%? Yeah. Ugh. Or he can make it where after I take damage, it makes swords fall on the people who damage me, which is, I'm gonna go with the Blade Rift. So, Zagreus will have 2 attacks with his weapon, by the way. The regular one, and his special. He can also do a unique dash attack. And he has a cast, which by default, he just throws out a little, like, hell crystal that doesn't do anything until you get a lot of upgrades between runs. But God Boons will allow you to swap it out for something like this. This is what Ares gets. A Vortex of Spinning Swords. Little page from the Dark Elves book there, I guess. If we had taken it from Athena, you throw out like a spinning circle of shields or something. With Artemis, you throw out an arrow that seeks an opponent. And it gets way crazier than that. Ooh, the next boon is Dionysus. I like Dionysus's boons. Give me just a moment. I believe I left my webcam in a good spot for this one, but hang on. Okay. I believe my webcam is, in the upper center of the screen. I believe that's where I left it. So you probably wouldn't have been able to see Dionysus on that door until just now when it's in the upper right corner. All right, here we go. And I am sorry if it covers up anything and I didn't notice. I can't see where my webcam is as I do not have a double monitor setup. It's not very professional, I know. So we may actually be doing pretty well here because as long as I dash into the bombs these 2 guys throw out, it'll return the bombs to them. And because I took that particular God Boon, these guys are oh, that was bad. These guys are going to take more damage from their own bombs when I send them back to them. Oh, okay. Careful, careful, careful. So this is supposed to be a mini-boss fight, though I find that these guys are typically so easy to beat with most builds that it doesn't really feel like it. Oh! Gotta remember that the bombers drop a bomb when they die in this game. That'll save you a lot of trouble.
That was revelry?
Dionysus!
Having a good time? Well, sure then. In the name of Hades, Olympus, I'll accept this message.
Here we go.
Zagman, how's it going? Look, you have got to get here with the rest of us already. We've been saving you a spot. Let me see what I can do. Make life a little sweeter for you in the meantime.
Dionysus was one of my favorite ones to get. He usually provides pretty good boons, and it's just always happy to see him. Ooh, okay, so these are some interesting ones. This one basically makes my attack deal poison damage. Poison that builds up over time. Same for this special here. That one's a very tempting choice. But this one makes it where whenever I pick up an item called Nectar, excuse me, it also functions as a Centaur Heart and gives me 25 health. I'm going to go with that one now because I need a health extension. But the other ones are really good.
Got a wine to liven things up around here.
Now, Nectar
Who should I give this to?
is an item you can hand out to the various gods to increase their relationship with you. And when you die and get sent back to the House of Hades, you can give it to the various occupants of the House of Hades to increase their relationship with you. There are various rewards for it, but a lot of the main purpose of giving out Nectar is just to have dialogue trees, basically. Alright, so we're moving on to the next segment, which has more darkness ahead for us to retrieve. Which is good, because I'm going to need that if this is my first run. Darkness is very important on your first run. So, since I've got such a good dash, it's really important for me to do a lot of dashing.
You're gone.
There we go. Let us see. Yep, we got more dudes coming in. Now, you may notice some of these guys will have yellow health meters. That is representing armor. And armor is basically, if a character is armored, it is not only a second health bar, but it is also
The underworld's power.
blocks them from being knocked back by most things. And if they do take knockback, they take much less knockback than they ordinarily would. Okay, between a Chthonic Key and Knight, I'm going to go for a Chthonic Key. Chthonic Keys are really important to get in the early game. Though it seems to me that once you get... It seems to me like Chthonic Keys are going to be made obsolete faster than most items in this game. That guy got way more hits on me than he should have. I'm not perfect at this game, I'm just alright. I'm good enough to have successfully escaped twice, but not really good enough to just kick ass on my first run. Especially because a lot of the successes I have had in my own regular save file that I'm not recording on are because of the unlocks that I have gotten. Ooh, that took a hit there as well. That is unfortunate. But it is what it is. There we go. Let's grab a Chthonic Key. Okay, we can choose between a pomegranate and a centaur heart.
I'm hurt.
We are really...
Myself, but I can fight.
We are lacking for health, so we're gonna take the centaur heart. I'm curious if I'm going to die to the Tartarus boss. So Hades' realm is divided up into several kind of dungeons. Tartarus is the one you start off in, and it's the green, kind of classic Greek-looking architecture that we got rolling here. Oh, excuse me. A little bit of that Chinese food is coming back. Anyways, so this is the starting area, and it has a boss. There are 4 regions of Hades' realm, each of which has a boss you must face at the end. We have enough money that we can go ahead and go to Charon's shop, which is probably the smart decision to make. Because I'm running a bit low for health, and money, you can't take it with you. I'm not going to look at that cage. Okay, we can spend 100 gold on a pomegranate or 25 gold on darkness. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take darkness because I am going to need it when I die.
Should help keep me going.
Oh, and I actually get to buy the pomegranate as well. Pomegranates are a bit of an interesting thing. What they do is they allow you to pick...
Good enough to eat.
You can upgrade 1 of 3 randomly picked boons that you've got on you. For this one, I will pick Deflect. I will upgrade the Deflect, because this particular boss, I'm inclined to say that having good Deflect is probably going to be pretty beneficial. So here we've got the final boss of Tartarus.
Well, this is awkward.
Halt, Zagreus. Not one step further.
Come on, Meg. Haven't we had more than enough of each other by now? Besides, don't you have someplace else to be?
Your father sent me. All in all, I'd rather be on your bad side than his. Now you can turn back, like a good little man, or I can send you home the painful way. What'll it be?
I'll have to go with the painful way.
Megra is, yeah, the one that a lot of people get hung up on the voice acting, and I wonder why.
A man after my own heart.
So Megra is not the easiest boss in the world. She's not impossible, far from it. I've got a fair bit of practice with her because I have fought against her so many times now. So I'm going to do probably pretty well for her. Definitely better than most people are going to do on the first time. But on my true first time, having never played the game before, she absolutely kicked my ass. She kicked my ass so hard that just thinking about it made me turn into Sean Connery. Absolutely. Oh shit. Oh god. There we go. So, she's got a general attack pattern of about 3 attacks. She tends to just throw out the same 3. She does the little dash. She'll do that little flying taunt there before she starts. Ooh, okay, this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted. However, it did not work as well as I wanted because dashing is rather terrible at the start of the game. So, I was hoping that I would get to reflect more attacks back at her, but when you first start the game, dashing is pretty terrible. So she's virtually guaranteed to kill me here. Unless I pull off a Christmas fucking miracle. Yeah, it's over. With that said, getting her down to 50% on your first run is nothing to be ashamed about. There we go, it's over. Okay. So, that's the end of the first run. I will go for just a little bit longer to show off the House of Hades. Megara is brutal on your first time. Even after you learn her pattern of attack, she generally does things quick enough that it can be a bit hard to just get used to her. So, the House of Hades.
Carry on, everyone. Don't mind me.
You go ahead and climb right out of the pool of sticks every single time you die. And you come back here, and here's the first guy you run into. Hypnos.
Welcome to the House of Hades, where... Wait, I know you. Guess that means you died out there, huh? Well, don't be sad, though. Pretty much everybody dies sometime.
I don't have the time to go around and talk to everyone, because I want to just kind of highlight the features, but Hypnos is the first guy you talk to every time you die, and he will be the one to comment on how you die. This particular time he had nothing to say, because this was the first death on this save file, but he's got something to say. Over here, we got the man himself, the big man, Hades, Zagreus' father. He's a prick. We got the pet dog Cerberus. He's great.
You've returned.
We got Achilles, who is pretty well... Let's be honest. Hades is Zagreus' father, but Achilles is his real daddy. And you figure that out pretty well the first time you talk to both of them. And over here, Nyx.
You have come home.
And then there's this massive segment of the screen on the bottom left that's just entirely covered. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is, I picked up the... Oh, actually, I don't get to do that this time. Okay. So I guess you don't get to give nectar to the NPCs on your first time back. So, here is where you use that darkness you picked up. The mirror.
Night and darkness, guy.
And throughout the early game, this is going to be your primary source of permanent upgrades. You get... I got 35 from that run. I can spend 30 here to pick up a Death Defy, which makes it where when I die, I come back with 50% health, which is obviously pretty important. I can spend 10 to get Chthonic Vitality, which caused me to heal just a little bit every time I transition rooms. And I can spend 10 to pick up a bit of Shadow Presence that makes it where I deal more damage if I hit enemies from behind. I'm going to spend the 30 on Death Defy. I recommend everyone who is new to the game spend the 30 on Death Defy. It is just that important.
Now we're talking.
There's a whole bunch of other stuff in Zagreus' room which you can interact with and see him commentate on. I won't be hitting that, because I want to show just one last thing. Here is the... Anytime it loads.
Okay.
Took a while. Here we go. So, here is the arsenal. Zagreus starts guaranteed with one weapon unlocked, that being the sword. However, you can unlock for one Chthonic key, the bow and arrow, or with 3 Chthonic keys, the shield. I'm very fond of the shield. I think the shield is probably the best one for beginners.
There we go. Aegis,
Let me
shield
equip
of
it.
chaos. Lend me your power.
And here
Warm up with that.
here's how it works. So, oh, also there's a skeleton here for you to try out on. You can talk to him. I'm not going to talk to him because I just want to show off.
Real nice.
The shield is a very different weapon, as you can go ahead and see. The sword hits, but does not cause any knockback except on its special. The shield causes a fair bit of knockback just on its regular hit. You can hold the button to do this dash, which allows you to just plow right through enemies. And for its special, you can throw the shield, and it comes back to you like you're Captain fucking America. You can also do a little dash strike, but it's not really anything special. And beyond the sword and the shield, there are 4 more weapons to unlock, all of which have their own entirely different attack patterns. And there's actually even more depth from there, but that's a bit of a spoiler that I am not going to talk about. There's also this particular thing, which you will not be able to touch until you give out your first nectar. And from here, you can once again set out into Hades to try one more escape. And immediately be granted with a god boon as well, which is nice.
Thunder.
So it's good old Uncle Zeus. Alright, so Hades, pretty fucking good game. I hope I showed it off in a pretty good fashion. And if you're interested, there's already a lot of content on this particular game that I'd recommend you to look into. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you folks later.